Are you newly single and about to go on a first date? Or have you never been on a first date and you're nervous about going on a first date? Well, I may have some psychology tricks for you because I have a special guest today. Francesca
Yes. Hello.
is on the pod today. She is a psychology expert and psychology and dating kind of, or do you talk a lot about dating?
I do talk a lot about
Well,
dating.
don't we all? I do as well. It's my whole career.
It's the most popular content out there. So
Exactly. And you're here on King of Hearts. It's
Thank you for
amazing to
having me.
you on to talk all things psychology, to talk all things dating and psychology, and getting I kind of want a little bit of advice from you as well because I'm single. But firstly, what made you realize you were an expert in psychology and dating?
Well, I've been really interested in psychology, body language, just like observing human behavior from a really young age. Like, I don't know if you know the series. I think it's called Lie to Me. And it's like, I think it's British. It's this British series that, you know, it's all about body language and interpreting it. And I was obsessed with it.
Okay.
And then I started reading books on like body language, on psychology. I started going to courses and I was really into it.
Yeah.
And I've always also been a really kind of sensitive and reflective child.
Yeah.
And I was just observing what was going on around me. So it was, you know, I started understanding like human behavior, you know, backed by all the courses and books I was reading. And then I went on to study psychology in university.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was just like, you know, and then I started doing life coaching as well. So getting a lot of experience through that.
I love that.
Talking about all different areas of life, not just dating, but, you know, anything that has to do with human behavior, psychology, you know, trauma, anything.
Oh wow. Okay. So you know a lot. So maybe you can help me here.
If you love me, let me fly away. Maybe I'll come back to you. Maybe I won't.
So I've been single for nearly a year now. And yeah, I've been going through this, like, I guess with my audience as well, this kind of journey of self-discovery. However, I do feel like for a lot of my listeners as well, and for those who, you know, follow me, also either gone through a breakup, or now single and ready to date again.
Yeah.
And I feel like first dates in particular can be super stressful. Like, you know, you organize a date with someone and then you cancel last minute because you're so stressed. And I feel like I wanted to make an episode today based around first dates and also for myself to understand, like, you know, how can you handle first date jitters? How can you handle the nerves? And dating in general is quite nerve-wracking, you know? And like, you know, sometimes you can get into things with guys or girls and not necessarily be with them because you want to be with them, but because you're just so nervous and you want someone to love you that you're like, I'll just like accept anything. So I'm trying to do better this time as I'm in my single era. I want to do better and not end up in the wrong relationship again. I find that I'm often attracted to avoidant men.
Very common.
Yes. So through psychology and like your expertise, how can you train yourself, or I guess identify how to stop being attracted to an avoidant person or emotionally unavailable person and start attracting or liking the more available man?
Yeah. I think a lot of people are going through this. And the most important question you need to ask yourself is, you know, what is making me attracted to this emotionally unavailable person? And a lot of people don't realize this, but the reason you're so attracted to someone who's emotionally unavailable is because you yourself are actually emotionally unavailable.
Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't want that answer, but yeah.
Yeah, it's painful to hear.
Yeah.
Or, you know, not easy to accept, because this maybe more conscious part of you is saying, wait, but I want to be in a relationship. I want intimacy. But you chose the person you chose for a reason. I mean, you could have gone for an emotionally available guy.
Yeah.
Why didn't you? You know, so you are using them as an excuse, you know, so you protect yourself from being vulnerable and emotionally intimate with someone.
Okay.
Because they're putting that wall. So, you know, you can just blame them. It's not your responsibility.
Yeah. So how can you, like, I guess, steer into changing that direction? Is that got to do with, like, you know, working on the relationship you have with yourself, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be really honest with yourself, first of all, and realize that this is happening. Like, gosh, I'm scared of intimacy. I'm scared of being vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know? And then once you become conscious, whilst you're in a relationship, you start to slowly open up. People think, you know, you're either completely open, like completely vulnerable, or completely closed off.
Right.
So
There's a spectrum.
They swing between extremes, but it's a spectrum. And, you know, like you need to open up slowly, gradually. A healthy relationship is developed one bit at a time. It's like a tap, you know, you don't open like the water full speed, you know, you open it slowly. You know, a few drops of vulnerability are dropping and then you open it more and more.
Yeah. And that's really interesting you say that, because when you're actually at the beginning of a relationship or a situationship with someone that's avoidantly attached, sometimes it can feel like the tap is completely open. Like, as in, like, you get really intimate very soon. But then, is that really intimacy? Because after like maybe 2-3 weeks, then it's like, okay, no, I actually don't want that.
That's what happens when one person is extreme. You know, they swing between extremes.
Okay.
You're either the love of my life and I'm super open and super, you know, intimate with you and everything's going perfect. Next day I'm like closed off.
Yeah. So
cold.
can avoidant people be like that as well?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone needs emotional intimacy. It's a human need. You know, they're just so scared of it that the moment they get it, they just back off and they shut down.
Or they can take like a little bit of it, but then when they realize that they're actually getting a bit deeper than that initial, it's like, oh, actually, I don't want that. I've definitely fallen into that before, where I've gotten to know someone too quickly and opened myself up too quickly and then realized, actually, this isn't what I want. So actually, you're right. Maybe I am a little bit avoidant, and it's something that I need to work on. And in order to steer myself into an emotionally available relationship, I need to work on the relationship I have myself. And if you're listening right now and you also find yourself getting into that pattern, I guess you're right. It all starts with the relationship you have with yourself.
A lot of times, you know, you are avoidant with yourself as well. Like you neglect your own needs and you don't have that deep, intimate relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you don't validate yourself. You don't have those warm, nice conversations with, you know, with yourself, with your inner child. You know, you neglect your needs. Or it can also be simple things like, you know, small things throughout the day, like I want to drink water and I'm thirsty, but I'm still working for like 30 more minutes and I'm completely neglecting that. So, you know, you yourself aren't really taking care of yourself either physically or emotionally.
Yeah.
So it starts with changing that, you know?
Yeah.
Changing the relationship you have with yourself, having a more loving relationship with yourself. Because, you know, when you understand that you deserve love and you start loving yourself, you're not going to be attracted to people who don't give that to you anymore. You're not going to be attracted to avoidant people.
Yeah, I'm going through that now. I definitely think I had a time in my life, and actually this is kind of my 2025 goal, is to have more fun, because I'm such a workaholic and I guess abuse myself and neglect myself by working so much to the point of burnout. That's not loving myself at all. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people go through that, you know, and that's neglecting. And this year I want to, you know, still work, but know when it's time to say no.
Exactly.
Which
Having
is-
boundaries and limits with yourself.
It's uncomfortable though, but I'm learning slowly to say no to like work events or saying no to like, you know, I'd rather go to Brazil for carnival than stay and work for Paris Fashion Week, you know, but it's a sacrifice.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, and
I'm trying.
it's a process. But yeah, a lot of people are really harsh on themselves, and
Yeah, I'm super harsh on myself.
so, you know, these things usually come from childhood. So, you know, if you had a parent or parents which you felt that were only giving you love or validation when you were performing, for instance, and
Yes.
when you were doing
Exactly.
something well, then you start having that kind of relationship with yourself. Like you don't love yourself just because you are, which is, you know, it's your right, it's your birthright as a human being. You are valuable and precious as a person just because you exist, you know, and parents are supposed to make their kids feel like that. But a lot of parents, most parents, I would say, don't, you know, aren't emotionally intelligent enough to do that.
Yeah.
So they'll only praise their children or validate their children
When they're doing well.
when they're performing.
Okay.
So then you become an overachiever, you become, you know, overperforming person because that's how you think you'll get love or you'll feel worthy of validation.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of women can relate to that one. You know, having to overperform in order to feel valuable.
We're just going to take a pause there and we'll be back after this break.
But I feel like once you get to that point of really loving yourself, and I guess me changing the way that I view myself and being easy on myself, then it comes down to dating again, you know?
Yeah.
And when dating again comes to first dates. And I have a few questions for you about first dates and how, you know, kind of to navigate the nerves of that, because I get so nervous. Again, it's the overperforming and the pressure of that.
Yeah.
And the pressure of being wanted and also the fear of rejection. So, you know, sometimes I just won't go on a date because I just would rather avoid even the option of rejection.
Wow.
You know? How would you say is the best way, if you're someone that's quite anxious, to like prepare for a first date? Some tricks like that you can do, like psychology tricks to help you calm down and kind of prepare yourself so that you're not super anxious.
Well, you have to realize that the reason why you're anxious is because you're putting so much pressure and you're putting so many expectations on this date.
Yeah. I mean,
and
a lot
you
of
need to take them off.
Well, a lot of us, we go on a first date kind of already thinking that your husband or already having envisioned the kids. And it's a lot of pressure.
And you end up disappointed.
Yes.
Most of the times. Because
Yes.
they're not the one.
Yes.
You know? So it's this mindset switch where you have to take off all the expectations, all the pressure, and go into the date like, okay, let's see what happens. You know, if it doesn't work out, that's fine. No, I know I'm a pretty girl. I'm intelligent. I'm valuable. I know I'm a catch. I know I'll find someone else. You know, I'm not going to be alone forever. So, you know, kind of take off the expectation and go into the date with curiosity.
Okay.
And, you know, don't try to find your husband necessarily on a first date.
Because that's a lot of pressure.
Try to just see, do I like this human being? And if not, or you're not convinced if you like them or not, just go with curiosity and, you know, like, oh, I'm learning about a new person today. Interesting. Like, have fun. I don't know.
Yeah. Take the pressure off of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And how would you say, like, obviously, because you're a psychology expert, how can you make yourself more attractive on a first date? Like, how can you make yourself feel feel more magnetic, I guess?
So there's a couple of things you can do to become more magnetic and attractive on a first date. And one of them is having like a strong, secure sense of self. And not trying so hard. We were talking about doing too much and overperforming, overdoing.
Saying too much as well, oversharing.
Oversharing, overdoing. So, especially when you're young, like you think you're not good enough and you have to be anything else but not yourself. So I don't know, you see stereotypes on Instagram, you see a girl and you see her getting all the guys and you think, oh, I need to act like that or look like that in order to be attractive.
Right.
I can't just be myself. That's not attractive.
Okay.
Or you're not very secure in yourself. You're not able to validate yourself. So when you go into a date, you're starving and looking for validation.
Right.
So
I've been there. We've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We've all been there.
Yeah, to be honest. So it's like you're trying to get something out of that person.
Right.
It's like me, please like me.
It feels desperate.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going in with this energy of desperation. And
Right.
that's repulsive, It's like you're going hungry. And what's really attractive is when you're full, when you're fulfilled, when you're okay with who you are. You can relax into yourself and you embrace yourself, your shortcomings, your, good parts, bad parts. And, you're not perfect, but you embrace that.
And what about like body language? How can you position yourself, even physically on a first date, that not only is going to make you feel more relaxed, but also make you look more confident, at dinner or at drinks?
Yeah. So first of all, slow down your breathing,
Okay.
breathe more slowly because that slows down your pace and your body language, becomes more relaxed. And it transmits this energy of comfort and confidence. So try to just have relaxed and open body language.
Okay.
If you have to like lean back in the chair, transmit this message that I'm laid back, relaxed,
Literally.
I'm not like shrink down trying to impress you. I'm just like taking up space. I'm relaxed. So imagine, how would you act if you were in the company of your best friend?
Okay.
How would your body language be? And have that,
Okay.
People are really attracted to those who are comfortable, who are relaxed, that are friendly and open and charming and charismatic, but I'm not trying to get anything out of you,
Okay.
I'm just being myself, and I can want you, I can desire you, but I don't need you.
Okay.
And I know I don't need you.
You're like a
and
cat. Like a cat. A cat doesn't need anyone but itself. You're very, very...
Yeah.
And we all respect cats because they just, they live their life.
Exactly.
They walk around. If they want you to touch them, they'll allow you to. But if they don't want you to touch them, they will leave.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about cats and animals and children, they're in this state of hyper presence as well. And that's another really attractive thing. Just being present in your body, feeling yourself, enjoying yourself, just living life.
Okay.
Like...
But how can you tell someone that's anxious to just be present on a date? Because it's like, it's hard because you want to be present, but you have all these thoughts going around in your head of like, do I have food in my teeth? How is my hair looking? Oh my God, how is my outfit? Like, how can you just like, I wish you could just turn the thoughts off on a date. But I guess it's practice, I guess,
Yeah, it's practice, and it's telling yourself it's okay not to be perfect. It's okay not to look perfect.
That's true.
I can have something in my teeth and still be charming as fuck. Like,
yes.
I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to, I don't know, look like put together, like perfectly good. It's okay. Like, we like people that are imperfect.
Yeah.
Because we are not perfect, and we know that.
No one is.
So someone who looks like they're perfect or pretends that they're perfect, we know that they're putting on an act. So someone who's relaxed and comfortable with, their shortcomings or whatever, awkward parts, insecurities, those people are attractive because they own themselves.
Wow. That's really interesting. I need to go on some more first dates, I feel like.
Yeah, honestly, it's also practice. Because the more you practice just relaxing and just kind of trying to enjoy yourself, not getting anything out of the date, and you do that over and over again, at some point, I went through the same thing. Before I met my current partner, I was dating for, I don't know, like a year or more
Really?
than that.
Like
Yeah.
lots of first dates.
Loads of first dates, second dates, third
And
dates.
it gets better with time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, at first, I was exactly like that. I was anxious. I was like, you know, I need to act a certain way. I need to speak a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to be attractive. And then, you know, towards the end of dating, and then I found my boyfriend, you know, I really just relaxed.
Yeah.
And I was like,
how did you do
let
that?
me just have fun. Well, it came from practice. And it also came from, you know, developing this kind of confidence in myself that I am good enough, like the way I
Yeah.
am. And the most attractive thing is just being authentic and owning myself as I am, having
Right.
a strong, you know, center of gravity. And something else I did was I started making my life more fulfilling, because what a lot of people do is they get all their validation from dates or from another person, a partner, or situationship. You know, so of course you become so anxious and dependent on those
Yeah.
things. You know, if you get your connection, your, I don't know, need for adventure, your
From that other
playfulness,
person.
your, you know, that person is satisfying your loneliness, like you're getting everything from that person.
Yeah.
You know, it puts so much pressure on
It does. Yeah.
But if you have, you know, different sources of connection and validation, you know, you have friends you can talk to,
Even solo dates.
solo dates, you know, you can take yourself on a trip. You
Yeah.
have hobbies. Like I got into reading, for instance. I love reading like romantasy books.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, little things like that that fill you up so you don't need that person.
Right.
You know, you have a schedule,
Exactly.
a life that you enjoy.
And that energy, it really transpires and people can feel that, you know?
100%.
People can feel desperate energy and they can feel energy that's confident as well.
Exactly.
People always want the confident energy.
And desperation makes you feel like, oh, there must be something wrong with this person. Like, why are they trying so hard to convince me to like them? You know, oh, there's something wrong with them. So it repulses you. But when you know what you have to offer and you're confident in yourself,
Yeah.
people are like, oh yeah, I want to be around them. You know, that's attractive.
And I think that the main point really from what I've taken from this whole thing is stop putting the pressure.
Yeah.
I think pressure also, you know, things explode under pressure. You know, it's not healthy putting so much pressure on things that haven't even happened yet. So like for anyone who's going on a first date right now, like to try and remove that and stop putting those ideas in your head of like this person's going to be like this or like that. And just again, being super present and like, okay, well, I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is. And if it turns into something great, if it doesn't, also great.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But yeah, it's a whole crazy world out there dating. And I think if you take away the pressure, as you said, it can actually be fun. You know, I have some friends who are like, I love going on dates. And I'm like, what? You love going on dates? They're like, yeah, it's so fun. You get to meet new people all the time. I was like,
you experience new things, places.
yeah, but I was like, how can you enjoy going on dates? And they're like, because it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
isn't.
if you were going out with, like, let's say a new friend, right? You'd be enjoying it.
Yeah.
But because you have all these expectations, you know, maybe see it as maybe nothing is going to come out of it, and that's okay. Like, go with the mindset, like, probably nothing's going to come out of it. I mean, the chances are it's not.
Well, yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So just like remove that altogether. Like, oh, nothing's going to come out of it. Might as well enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And if it does, then it's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I guess practice detachment from outcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, that was really insightful. I actually haven't been on a first date, like an actual, like not knowing the person and then going on a date since me and my ex broke up.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm very much on the nervous side of things. Like I'm doing the solo thing right now, which is I'm taking myself to the theater, I'm taking myself to the spa, but you know, I'm going to have to one day get back, you know, and go on a date, you know? But I guess I'm just delaying it out of, again, the pressure of finding the husband, you know? You're just reminding me and everyone who's listening that it's like, it's not that big of a deal. And the more big of a deal you make out of it, the more disappointed you'll be, you know?
And just being aware that dating is a numbers game. Like, you're not going to find your husband on your first date. I mean, you know, chances are very, very low.
Yeah.
You know, like, you have to go through a lot of people until you find the one. And until you do, just have fun, you know, just relax, take the pressure off, enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, I've discovered so many new restaurants like while dating.
Oh, God.
You know, like, just see it as, oh, I'm experiencing something new.
Yeah.
And take it as that. Or I'm learning about a new culture, about a new person. You know, so take it as, oh, I wonder how this person's gonna be.
Okay. Now I have more confidence, I feel. And I feel a bit more relaxed. And if you're listening and you also feel a bit more relaxed and this has helped you get ready for your first date, good luck. Let's all get out there. And even if you're not ready still, like, I don't know if I'm ready yet, but I guess knowing that, you know, there's no pressure.
Exactly.
And don't expect anything. And if you expect nothing, you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you expect everything, you're immediately going to be disappointed, especially from someone you don't know.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insight.
Thank
and
you
all
for
your
having me.
psychological tips and tricks. If you want to, what's your Instagram at again for everyone to follow?
It's Francesca Psychology.
Francesca Psychology on TikTok as well. Same?
TikTok, YouTube, Instagram.
Perfect.
Everywhere.
If you want any tips and tricks or some more advice on how to be magnetic and be attractive and get everything you want in life, give her a follow. And if you like this episode, please share it with your friends, anyone who's going on a first date or is getting back into the dating scene and doesn't really know how or is a bit nervous. Hopefully this will make you a little bit more relaxed and confident in your worth and who you are. So yeah, I'll see you next week for another episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Maybe I won't.